There are certain TV series that really shine on Netflix. Some of their originals just really are a cut above the rest. And I would put Ozark in their top 3 best TV series ever made. I would put up there with Dark as well, and I'd have to think about my third option. But yeah, Ozark and Dark. Nevertheless, we're back with Ozark, the first half of the last season. It's 7 episodes. I'm here to talk about it, non-spoiler of course, just to kind of remind you of what's happening and where it's going and what you kind of could expect without doing spoilers. So let's jump in. So 7 episodes, hour-long episodes. So even though it's a shorter half, it's not the full season like we used to get the whole season all together. Here they've split it, and it's going to go out with a big bang if the first 7 episodes are anything to go by. Now, we have a multitude of stories that are interweaving and interconnecting. When last we left the birds, they were dealing with the casino. They were dealing with the mafia. They were dealing with trying to deal with heroin and the law enforcement. This time around, we have the bad guys, or the one particular bad guy, Navarro, wanting to get out. And so the whole big kind of crux of the storyline is that Navarro needs the birds to make a deal with the FBI. And that brings about its own conundrums and issues about how to go and do that and how to get all the parties involved. It feels like there's been like a series where, like season 1, where they just get introduced to drugs, and then we've seen them spiral into the darkness that is this world of crime and drugs, and the birds are always trying to get out. But if, like 24, if you've watched 24 before, there's like the day in the life of Jack Bauer. You just know it's going to get worse, and every time they fix one issue, there is another big issue. I would say one of the best things about this series is its tenseness, and that is there for this, but the latter 3 episodes are really where it kind of grinds up that story, that tenseness, where you're kind of wondering, is anybody going to survive? And that for me has always been the kind of the crux of the storyline. You kind of don't know who the main players are. You expect all of the birds to survive, and you expect maybe Ruth and her families to survive, and you expect certain drug dealers to be taken out eventually, especially if they don't have a second name. And this one, you had to kind of sit back on your chair going, well, I'm really not sure where this is going, because there's this tenseness, this air of, even though sometimes things are not happening on screen, you're just worried what's going to happen next. Everybody feels like they're at a boiling point, and that comes down to really intense writing. Where the writing has been tight before, this season feels like it's made the characters really feel like they're about to snap. If you're seeing bad guys on the screen, you feel like they're about to snap and kill somebody. If you're seeing the birds on screen, you feel like they're about to shout and just kind of go off at the deep end. You always feel like one step too far could make everything boil over and it become disastrous and everybody ends up dead. That's what the birds are dealing with this whole time. For me, Ruth has always been the better character when we introduced her. Her arc has been phenomenal, and that's again evident here, but it feels like a little bit that they've kind of stepped back from Ruth for a bit of the series and really focused more on the birds, because it all started with the birds, and so we get some more time with the daughter and the son. I think the son has a lot more to do with Ruth this time around, which I thought was an interesting dynamic. Without going into spoilers, we see the daughter feel like more a part of the family unit, and then we see other players, like new characters, little ones, just come and tease what's going to happen in the next batch of episodes. It looks fantastic once again, but always it comes down to the acting and the tightness of the script and the delivery of that. So we have the birds. We have this husband and wife whose relationship has been estranged, and it's always on like tipping point. They've worked out a place where they're going to be with each other no matter what. They've worked out all these issues, but that doesn't stop the issues from really kind of grinding down the family. And you imagine living in this tenseness all the time. So that's shown on screen visually, and the acting between our protagonists are just blooming brilliant, which is why it's always keeping you on your toes. You don't know what's going to happen. Some of the best TV you're likely to watch. If you are watching this review, probably waiting for me to say how damn good it is, because you're invested already. You've come this far. It's the last season. You're sad that it's the last season, but also you're also happy that they're not going to stretch it out, because you don't want this amazing series like Dark and its 3 seasons to end up with a way of, wow, this is not quite good, like a Game of Thrones, not end up quite as good as it could have been. And so I'm glad they're doing that. So we get 7-hour-long episodes that are fantastic, each riveting. It's a builder, so don't expect like massive action. It builds. There are moments that it comes across as quite tense, and there's action moments, but this is not an action series. It's a thriller series that develops its storylines and characters massively until we get to the crux of the storyline unfolding and letting us know, okay, now that they've survived one bit, they're into another bit. And I think everybody just brings their end game. It's just one of my favorite series to watch. You love to watch it, and you love to hate certain characters, and you will certain characters to finally do something right. Some characters, you are willing them to stop making the wrong decisions, but you know that they're not going to. Like the wife, Mrs. Bird. She's always seeming to emotionally make decisions. There's a few decisions she makes in this the last episodes, well, the last 7 episodes from the season that I thought, well, yeah, were great. But mostly she makes decisions that just goes, this is going to come back to bite you. And so you're wondering the effects of a character's decision, what's going to happen. And that keeps you on edge as well. Just really great. I'm not going to rate it yet, because I think you need to rate it as a whole season, and then I can do a ranking. But for now, let me just say this is fantastic. You guys are in for a treat. Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.